To understand the gravity of what you're about to read, here is the quick TLDR. Sharla has been the target of a relentless, multi-year campaign of online harassment originating from a toxic circle of creators we have extensively cataloged on this channel. It began when she served as a co-administrator for a Facebook community, where she ran a tight ship based on ethics and accountability. But standing up for the truth didn't make her many friends. Sharla called out a toxic YouTuber known as Down the Rabbit Hole at Bedtime for leaking content from behind another creator's paid Patreon paywall, pointing out the blatant hypocrisy of a community that claims to fight exploitation while actively practicing it. Furthermore, Sharla publicly called out another member, Veda Jade, for blatant art plagiarism, stating clearly that she refused to endorse an obvious lie because her integrity mattered more than popularity. For the crime of maintaining ethical standards, this circle of creators, most notably escalated by Steve McRae, a well-known serial harasser masquerading as a critical thinker, launched a systematic campaign to destroy her reputation. Steve went so far as to publicly present a fraudulent business transcript involving a company named Lendio, falsely claiming it belonged to Sharla in a blatant attempt to manufacture a scandal.
I am a paragon of you.
I sure don't.
It's part of a twisted paradox that defines his entire playbook, aggressively bullying targets online while simultaneously playing the victim to justify his behavior.
I'm not going to stop speaking out.
I am the victim.
Steve is a bum.
It's fun.
When the online smear campaigns, false criminal accusations, police visits under false pretenses, and harassment escalated, Sharla fought back with cease and desist letters. When those were ignored, she took them to court. She successfully secured 2-year restraining orders against her abusers, 5 of which have since been elevated to lifetime orders due to continuous non-compliance.
And eventually the good always comes out on top, and that's what's going to happen.
While Steve McRae is largely quiet these days,
Fecal impaction.
today, the chief violator of these orders is Erin Costello, who routinely attempts to shield her ongoing defiance and defamation behind the banner of free speech.
Because she's able to try to silence me privately now, including on my channel, over her lies, over bullshit, over her over-dramatizations with no facts, no evidence to back it up.
The judge and attorneys dedicated their lives to evaluating facts. This is their profession. They're not some part-time gossip tuber. Erin failed, and now her ego is calling the law bullshit.
Like, this is bullshit.
Erin's decision to not contest the non-compliance, address the multiple violations, this has led to warrants, monetary and ordered to YouTube, granted as sanctions. Yet she persists conscience-free while pretending to be a victim. The Lord and the courts have granted this woman protection from these abusers. But the civil system is no longer the final stop. Criminal charges have officially been initiated. It's against this high-stakes legal backdrop that Sharla recently shared a critical legal breakdown on her timeline, addressing the exact toxic defense mechanisms that plague social media. She wrote,
"With the rise of cyberstalking, online harassment, and the weaponization of law enforcement and the courts on YouTube and social media, I wanted to share some of the cases that I've found or that have been shared with me by attorneys. I hope this helps someone else to avoid what I've been through."
Now, to understand why these appellate cases matter, you have to look at how violators try to twist reality when the law finally knocks on their door. Just recently, the chief violator in this case, Erin Costello, uploaded a video completely exposing the exact toxic playbook Sharla's legal toolkit targets. Erin sat on camera and read a high-stakes final notice compliance email from Sharla. And instead of realizing the legal cliff she is standing on, Erin chose to do what digital harassers always do. She hid behind the First Amendment and played the victim. Listen to how she frames a court-ordered demand to remove defamatory content.
I want to know exactly what it is I did wrong, because no one can tell me this. In fact, the court can't even tell me, like, this post here, this thing you did here, this thing you said here, this is why I ruled the way I ruled or whatever. No one is telling me that. So I don't even know what the hell it is I did wrong. And how can I be sure that I won't do it again in the future if I can't know what it is?
When you watch Erin's videos today, you'll constantly hear her playing the bewildered victim like this, crying out to her audience and asking what she could have possibly done to deserve any of this legal fallout. If we look back to the summer of 2023, we can see exactly how Erin, the entitled Gaslighter, chose to inject herself into this smear campaign against a private citizen. When third-party observers tried to point out that YouTube channels shouldn't be used to terrorize someone who had already issued a cease and desist, Erin weaponized her platform to run interference. She openly defended Steve McRae's targeted broadcasting, masking his obsessive behavior under the guise of tending to his mental health and asserting his supposed right to tell his story. But it goes much deeper than merely playing defense for a serial bully. Erin actively used her 5,000-plus YouTube subscribers and 1,000-plus X followers to amplify and validate life-destroying, unevidenced lies. When another user called her out for pushing false narratives, Erin doubled down by dropping severe, defamatory criminal allegations into the public square. She publicly accused Sharla of, quote, going real life, falsely claiming she sent unwanted items to Steve's shack and even accusing her of attempting to fraudulently secure business loans in Steve's name. This wasn't an innocent mistake. It was the deliberate amplification of a fabrication designed to manufacture a criminal narrative around a private citizen who lacked a large public platform to channel defend herself. Erin lent the full weight of her channel to echo abuser Steve's malicious fiction. So when she sits on camera today wondering why the legal system has finally caught up to her, this is the answer. You don't get to participate in a coordinated smear campaign to ruin a life, and then act surprised when you're handed the bill for the damage.
And you want to sit there and hold me in contempt just for talking about you, but here you are in my inbox harassing me after I've already requested several times that you don't do that.
Let's be completely clear. Sharla isn't harassing Erin. This email is a final legal ultimatum, and it is a standard, highly tactical move advised by attorneys. In fact, many jurisdictions explicitly require a plaintiff to prove they attempted to resolve a dispute informally before a judge will grant severe enforcement motions, heavy financial sanctions, or criminal contempt warrants. Furthermore, both the courts and platforms like YouTube require a clear paper trail showing the defendant was given a specific window to comply before a complete channel termination or domestic wage garnishment is executed. Sharla isn't popping into Erin's inbox to chat. She is meticulously checking the final procedural box required to let the hammer fall.
You won't leave me alone. And you keep dragging me through court over this bullshit. You are affecting my life, and you expect me to stay silent on it all. No. You're trying to take away my free speech. You're trying to tell me I can't share an opinion about you that's negative. So you're trying to use the court lawfare to strong arm me or manipulate me or to get me to act or behave accordingly.
Let's pause right there and untangle the massive delusion required to utter those sentences. Erin frames this as an issue of negative opinions and free speech. But as we are about to see in the case law, the courts have already drawn an absolute line. Harassment is conduct, not expression. When a court issues a valid protective order, your right to publicly obsess over, broadcast about, and anchor content to a protected citizen is legally dead. It isn't lawfare when a victim uses the legal system to enforce a binding court order that you chose to violate. That is called accountability. But the Darvo playbook, deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender, doesn't stop at crying free speech. Erin next attempts to gaslight her audience into believing that she is the one being terrorized, simply because she's being handed the bill for her own actions.
Oh, how nice of you that you're allowing me to negotiate the blackmail fee. Thank you.
Because Erin has already been found in civil contempt, Sharla's email is laying out the exact conditions required to halt her channel's removal and quash active arrest warrants. By offering a negotiable blackmail fee, which is actually court-ordered attorney fees, Sharla is giving Erin one last high-stakes choice: settle the judgment and remove the defamatory content now, or face imminent out-of-state domestication liens, wage garnishment, and criminal prosecution.
I know you know 2.5 years going nonstop at a person who has no channel or following is not right. The power dynamic. Where do you see me ever having power in this dynamic? You have all of this shit that you were using against me and trying to manipulate and control me and coerce me with. Where is my power in this dynamic? I haven't had any power. You're the one who's doing this shit. You're the perpetrator here, not me.
Notice the spectacular inversion of reality. To Erin, being held financially responsible for court-ordered attorney fees and unpaid judgments isn't justice, it's blackmail. She stands before her audience claiming she has no power, entirely omitting the fact that she has already been found in civil contempt of court for refusing to comply. She frames an active fleeing from justice status as a badge of victimhood, comforting herself with the bizarre claim that out-of-state warrants aren't worth the paper they're written on.
Warrants that the judge even told you in the court transcripts are not worth the paper they're written on outside of the state of Kansas.
This is the exact high-stakes environment where social media bravado collides with the cold, hard reality of the judicial system. Erin is treating criminal noncompliance like an internet argument you can win with a snappy retort. But the civil system is no longer the final stop. With domestication liens, wage garnishments, and criminal contempt charges actively in motion, the indie creator sharing opinions narrative is officially over. Let's look at the exact appellate receipts Sharla posted to show why Erin's legal defenses are entirely dead in the water. Underneath that statement, she dropped a massive list of real appellate and Supreme Court case law. Why? Because whenever internet trolls target a private citizen, they rely on a single, lazy defense. It's a public video. It's just my opinion. I have First Amendment free speech. Let's untangle exactly what Sharla posted, translating these heavy legal precedents into plain English to show why the free speech defense is officially dead. 1. The I didn't tag you loophole is dead. First on her list are cases like State versus Dunbar and State versus Lambert. Trolls love to say, But I didn't send it to her inbox or tag her account. The courts have already smashed this loophole. These rulings affirm that indirect contact explicitly covers public social media posts or videos aimed at a victim. If a creator consistently anchors content to a protected person, the law handles it as criminal stalking and protective order noncompliance. Period. 2. Harassment is conduct, not speech. Next, Sharla cited landmark federal cyberstalking cases, United States versus Young and United States versus Osinger. Here, the federal courts drew a hard line. They established that cyberstalking is legally classified as conduct, not expression. When someone uses videos, blogs, or digital profiles as a vehicle to systematically destroy a private citizen's peace of mind, privacy, or safety, that speech loses all constitutional protection. The Constitution is not a license to terrorize. 3. Crimes can't hide behind amendments. To back this up, she highlighted a foundational Supreme Court case, Giboney versus Empire Storage. This is the ultimate weapon for prosecutors, because it proves the Constitution does not protect speech or writing when it is an integral part of a course of conduct that violates a valid criminal statute. 4. Orders silence the narrative. Finally, she brought up State versus Cooney, which directly tackles whether a defendant can claim free speech when broadcasting publicly about someone who holds a restraining order against them. The court's ruling was absolute. Once a valid protective order is active, the state's compelling interest in protecting the victim overrides the creator's desire to broadcast about them. Your right to speak on them is legally curtailed. Conduct does not equal speech. By putting these receipts on the table, Sharla highlighted a powerful truth. The law has officially caught up to digital harassment. If you cross the line from commentary into a systematic campaign of distress, the platform won't save you, and the First Amendment won't protect you. Erin Costello and her mob of adjudicated harassers are not the first to launch a malicious smear campaign using the internet, and they certainly won't be the last. But by untangling these digital webs, we expose a critical truth. The law has officially caught up. People need to be aware of these landmark precedents, because the First Amendment is a shield for liberty, not a license to terrorize. Please share this video anytime you see online abusers cry free speech. It is always better to drop the video proof rather than trying to argue it all in social media text. Know your rights, protect your peace, and we'll see you next time.
Do you know 1 + 1 = 2? Do you know that?
1 second.
Do you know it?
All right, 1 second. I'll be right back.
I'm not holding on. Do you know 1 + 1 = 2?
No. No.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, dear. Oh, that's funny.